This looks a little. There you go. Well, today I'm gonna be talking about my DNA. I ordered it in back in February last year, and I got the results. So today I'm gonna be talking about it. Let me go in here real quick. Here, bear with me for a minute. And here you go. Anyway, um, when it came back, I was excited. I was a little shocked. Well, I was very shocked. I was very excited, and I was shocked a lot. I didn't expect to see what the results. I mean, I didn't expect to see the results that I got. Let's put it that way. My dad used to tell us when I was young, before he passed, and when he was in good health, they were Native American, a high percentage of Native American, and I believed it, but I didn't know. He didn't know from what tribe or what, you know, which Native Americans we were, and so there was no way for us to know. I never had the chance to ask my grandmother, his mother, and anybody else. Everybody else they keep telling me different. Some would say we were Cherokee, some said we were Apache, some said we were Navajo, and so on and so on. Several relatives told me we were Apache, several said that we were Navajo. So anyway, to my surprise, I turned out to be a lot of Apache, a little bit of Navajo. Uh, we are myself and my niece Michelle Ramirez are in the process of trying to find out what tribe from Apache. So right now I'm going to tell you. I'm going to go here and explain this to you real quick here. I mean, I already memorized what I've got as far as who my ancestors were. And I am 49% Native American, North Central South, Northeastern Mexico, and South Texas. And we have to, just to refresh your memory, Texas got its independence from Mexico in 1836 and became part of the United States in 1845. 1845. So most of my relatives were already in Texas, and a lot of them came from Spain and throughout different countries. So anyway, I'm 49% Native American, I'm 20% Spaniard, 14% Portuguese, 8% French, 1% Native American Andi, 1% Middle East, 1% Senegal, 1% Italian, and 1% Sardinia. So with that being said, let me tell you here, in 1750, most of my relatives or ancestors settled down with San Antonio, Laredo, Edinburgh, Monterrey, Nuevo León, Cholula, and Tamaulipas in 1750. And also 1775, there's not much of a difference. 1800s, the same. 1825, it spreads in Texas big time to little Waco, Texas, Killeen, Austin, Victoria, San Antonio, and other little. 1875, it really gets interesting here, 1900s, my ancestors traveled from Texas, which is my ancestor, Jesus Garcia, which is my grandfather, and Cornelia Moreno, my grandmother from my mom's side of the family. Jesus Garcia is my dad's father. Cornelia Moreno is my mother's mother, which two different grandparents for two different parents. Okay. And they both living in Chula, Mexico. And they traveled down to Nuevo León, to Matamoros, Edinburgh, Laredo, and Chula. In 1925, this is what it gets interesting here. A lot of them, their descendants traveled to California, and to Nuevo León, and to Dallas, Texas, and Houston, Texas. And my first great-grandmother, Juanita Rosas Nino, she was living in San Antonio, Texas. This is something else. This is crazy. Monterrey, they traveled to Eagle Pass, Laredo, Corpus Christi, Victoria, Matamoros, and Dallas, and California, San Angelo, Midland, Eagle Pass, El Paso. Oh, wow. This is crazy. So, this is the areas that my ancestors and descendants of my ancestors and relatives, all the way down to my parents and my grandparents. Okay, so now we're going to go to my family tree here. Family tree. This is something else. I found out that one of my great-grandmothers was born in Spain, and her name was, this is something else. Jesus Garcia, my dad's father, my grandfather. Jesus Garcia was born in Mexico in 1903. He had 6 sons. Okay. And he was married to my grandmother, Isabel Ochoa. And they had children, including my dad in there. And the children were Modesto Garcia, Victor Ochoa Garcia, Jesus Ochoa Garcia, Socorro Garcia Ochoa, Pedro Ochoa Garcia Pete, Carlos Garcia, and Janie Garcia. Those are my uncles and my aunt. And I only have one uncle left on my dad's side of the family who's alive. It is Carlos Garcia. Everyone else has passed, including my dad. And my grandfather's father was also named Cirilo Garcia and Maria Teresa Frio. Let me see. Okay, let's go back here to facts. Life story. Okay. Now we're going to hit Cirilo, my great-grandfather, which is my grandfather's father. His name was Cirilo Garcia. He was born in 1869. His father was Marciano, who was 30 years old. And his mother was Trinidad, was 31 years old. He married Maria Teresa Frio. And February 13, 1890 in Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. Okay. His wife, Cirilo Garcia, was married with Teresa Frio. Let's find out about her. My apology. She was a Native American. I couldn't find out what tribe, though. There's a picture of her. Well, we couldn't find out what tribe. Juan Maria Teresa Frio was born 1880 in Texas. Her father and mother was Isabel, 47. She married Cirilo Garcia, and they had 6 children. She also had 6 daughters and another relationship. She died at the age of 62. So she was Native American too. And we are trying to find out right now what tribe. And for your information, there are 13 different tribes of Apache tribes in the United States. Federally recognized. 13 different Apache tribes. And that's why it's so hard to find out. I have to find the exact person who is my ancestor, my great-grandmother or whatever, and give them the date of birth, the date of passing, and their full name. And if they can find them on that registry, then that's what tribe I am. Okay. So now we're going to go to Isabel Frios. Isabel Frios was born 1833 in Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. Oh, he's a he, my grandfather. That's a he. Isabel Frios was born in 1833 in Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. His father was Jose, was 33 years old. He had one son and 5 daughters with Trinidad Moraja. He died May 13, 1923 in his hometown at the age of 90. Wow. This is something else. Okay. Now let's go back. Let's go back here. Okay. To the Garcia. Marciano Garcia was born 1839, Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, the son of Teodora and Antonio. He married Trinidad Victoriana Nuno Garcia on June 29, 1867. They had 7 children in 38 years. He died in January 9, 1885, in his hometown at the age of 46. And they had a son, Marciano Garcia, and he was married to Trinidad Victoriana Nuno Garcia. Okay, let me see if he had any siblings. Marciano, well, they had a son, Cesario Garcia. Wow, Lino Garcia, Aresto Garcia. This is wonderful things that I never knew about. Yeah, let's see what else I can find out here. Bear with me for a minute. One of my ancestors also, Jose Antonio Trevino, was one of the persons who signed the document for the Texas independence when he got the independence from Mexico. He is one of my ancestors who signed that document. He is well known in San Antonio, Texas. They even have his home at the museum, and they have a statue of him in San Antonio, Texas. He drew up the document, the Declaration of Independence, from Mexico to have the president of Texas sign it when it became part of the United States. That is crazy, the things that you find out about your ancestors. And Antonio Garcia. Antonio Garcia was born the son of Maria and Felipe. He had 3 sons and 1 daughter with Teodora one daughter with Teodora Camarena. He had 1 brother and 1 sister. And the children are here. Marciano Garcia, Maria Simona Garcia Camarena, Jose Hilario Garcia. Wow, this is crazy. the things that we find out. Let's talk about Teodora. Teodora Camarena was born the daughter of Rita and Fernando. She had 3 sons and 1 daughter with Antonio Garcia. She had 2 brothers. Children. Okay, I already read the children. Fernando Camarena had 2 sons and 1 daughter with Rita Torres. Who were the children? Margarito Camarena, Joseph Francisco Camarena. And let's find out about, hold on a minute here. Let's see what. Birth of son Margarito Camarena, born 1820, died 1873. Margarito Camarena. Okay, now let's go back here. Rita Torres, one of my great-grandmothers. Wow, Rita Torres was married to Fernando Camarena, and they had 2 children. Wow, this is something else. And I also have, bear with me here, more relatives that I'm gonna go later on that I don't have on this tablet. They're on my phone, but since I'm going live right now, I can't do that right now. I'm gonna go through some of my relatives, my cousins, and my better on. My oldest daughter did her DNA. She did her DNA, and she is 51% Native American. Isn't that crazy? 51% Native American. Let me go in here. Compared to mine, I'm 49%. She's 51%. I'm 20% Spaniard. She is 17%. She's 8% Portuguese. I'm 14%. I am 8% French, and she is 10% French. I am 1% Jewish, and she is 2% Jewish. Isn't that crazy? And that's my oldest daughter. Now let's go to my son. Normally when you do your DNA, you get 50% of your parent, one parent and 50% of the other parent. So what you don't get, your other sibling gets. Like my sister, I'll explain to you about my sister in a minute. She also did her DNA. My son, which is the second oldest, he is also the same as me, 49% Native American, 16% Spaniard, 10% Portuguese, and the same as me, 8% French. 3% Italian, and I'm only 1%. Isn't that crazy? Jewish, 1%. Okay, now let's go to my youngest. My youngest daughter. Okay. And she got, she also got 51% Native American. That's crazy. 17% Spaniard, 6% Portuguese, 11% French, more than my daughter and me and my son. Italian, 4%. My daughter got 3%. Jewish, 1%. Native American, only 1%. Now let's go to my sister. She did her DNA. And she got, okay. Okay. My sister got 50% Native American, 29% Spaniard. Wow. 9% Portuguese, 1% French, 3% Middle East, and you know what? Another thing that she got that I did not get, 4% German. When I was very young, I remembered hearing my mother say that my grandfather was part German, part German. So I'm gonna assume and I'm gonna believe that that's where the German come from.
Boy.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. So that's my sister. Now my niece, her daughter,
What?
she got, my daughter got, my niece, I'm sorry, 61% Native American, 15% Spaniard, 5% Portuguese, 6% French, 2% Middle East, and 1% German. Okay. Now, my nephew, for my other sister's, her son. Now, I believe her husband was either from England or Wales or Ireland or somewhere like that. So I'm going to assume that's where he got most of his stuff from his dad. Okay. My nephew, Ray Wilder. Come on, what happened here? Let's get on with the program around here. There you go. Okay. 26% Native American, 3% Spaniard, 1% Portuguese, 1% French, 1% Italy, 1% Senegal, and 64% England, Wales, Northern Europe. That is crazy. And one more family member that did the DNA, my other nephew from Texas. Let's see what he got. 63% Native American. North and Central South Texas, Northern Mexico and Central South Texas. 13% Spaniard, 3% Portuguese, 1% French, 9% Italian. Wow, that is crazy. 1% Jewish, 2% Greek and Balkan Islands, 1% Turkey, 1% Ireland and Scotland. That is crazy. Okay. I'm going to go through some of my family, some of my matches with your cousins. Second cousins, third cousins, and so on and so on. I have a second cousin here from Texas that I know who she is. I know who her mother is. I'm not going to name her name. I wrote to her several times. She doesn't answer me. And she is my second cousin. I know who her mother is. My mother's my first cousin, and I know who she is. And this is from my mother's side of the family. Okay? Then I have another second cousin who also I found her on Facebook, and then she blocked me. Crazy. Crazy, crazy. But they're young. They really don't even know the meaning of, how wonderful it is to discover other family members. And then I have another one through my dad's side of the family. She's wrote to me a couple of times. Then I have another family member, second cousin, from my dad's side of the family who we keep in contact every day. We text every day through our phone numbers, through our phones, text messages. And we also keep in touch on Facebook. And there's another second cousin that I wrote to that I never returned never got a response back. And then I've got one third cousin that I keep in contact with also on Facebook. He's a photographer. And then my cousin, a sister of one of my cousins that I communicate with every day, she did her DNA and she's on here. But she hasn't been on in a long time. And you can tell when somebody checks her profile and she hasn't been on there, so she hasn't read my messages. So I understand that. and so on. And oh, I'm in contact with new cousins on Facebook. I'm in contact with new cousins in Oklahoma. I'm in contact in East Coast. He's a good cousin of mine, a wonderful cousin. And a cousin in Michigan, I believe. And in Texas. And another one, I believe she is in Washington. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. And there's some cousins in Texas also that I'm in touch with. Oh, and one cousin here in Southern California. So we're in the process of trying to find out. I know that I'm Apache. My niece did she got my DNA and she submitted it through this tool that they use to distinguish what Native American you are, and she found out that I'm high, very high in Apache. So I'm happy with that. All I gotta do tomorrow, I want to start making some phone calls and calling other tribes and getting some names and see what of my ancestors turns out.
Bring it over here.
Okay? Well, this is the end of my live streaming with my DNA. Yeah, have a wonderful day. I hope this is good, for everybody, or maybe some of my family members or cousins or distant cousins are able to see this and recognize some of the names. But y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.